When you get here, say hello, and we are going to come back. I'm going to come back to all the comments. Usually I think the comments supposed to go on my page, and then I can come and check with you. So big welcome once again. Hope you have a beautiful Thursday. It is cold here in Brazil. I have the heater on, and it looks like I'm getting a little cold. So all right, so let me get my notes here. Today is an exciting day. We're going to talk about a powerful theme, a theme that it's been so interesting since I received the download to do this upcoming rite of passage, the untie the knots. And so there's a lot of questions about it. And it's the interesting thing about this particular rite of passage is that it involves so many areas in our life. And there is a very special celebration that I have, which is, if you got my email yesterday, in yesterday emails, I talk about something that happened that got me tied up in my own knots, right? So long story short, I bought 2 houses in 2020, and coincidentally, not coincidentally, because I absolutely know, I called a fourth, right? Because I needed to go through whatever I had to go through, and I went through. And so I bought 2 houses, and both houses got so entangled up that I only was able to come to this house that I live now after 1 year and a half. And, you know, granted, it was an auction house, so it has a lot of, you know, involvements with, there's a lot of little tremors that needs to happen in order for the house, actually, for us to be able to get into the house. But I saw how getting one area of my life tangled up, how that affected, and how important is this time right now, because we just signed the papers that we needed to sign. And so for this house, and also the other house that I had bought, we got tangled up with it for also 2 years. And on the day that I announced the rite of passage, what it needs to be done to clear that area got clear. So I got two tied up knots in one day just by listening to the energy to move and to support you in this particular rite of passage. So obviously today we are going to talk about that, and my intention in sharing what I prepare for you today is to support you in whatever area that you are, so that you can move forward, right? So if you see, I put the title of today's live show, how can you start untying the knots that are keeping you stuck so you can reclaim your power and move forward? So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about that. And my invitation for you is to take, you know, use the time that we have together with the practice that we're going to do today to hold the space for the moment that you choose to clear some things out. Everything aligns, everything opens up so that synchronicity can come in, so that the right partnership, the right people, and the right situations open up. And sometimes, and I can, you know, this is such an interesting experience that I had with these 2 houses, because it got me the opportunity to look at some of the things that I wasn't looking, that was not related to houses. It got me the opportunity to lay in, you know, even like dive into the tools that I bring, right? So, and I also got the opportunity to look at other areas that because of this situation, got a attention that he needed. And if you follow me for a while, you always have me saying, heard me saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And this is particularly true here. So when I talk about untying the knots, for you, maybe you are in a situation where, it's something physical. You wanted to sell a house, and for one reason or another, it's not going in the way that you wanted to go, or you wanted to find a place to live, and it feels like everything has some sort of, energy holding. Or maybe is a particular relationship in your life that you feel like no matter what you do, feels like nothing moves, and you keep getting a pushback from this other side of the relationship. Maybe is your own sense of, and this, I believe it's a huge one for so many people. Since the pandemic, I'm looking and I'm receiving, I'm always talking to you, those of you that reach out, there is a lot of sadness that came up, like untapped sadness that came up post-pandemic, because it's open for people something that before they were too busy to actually look at. And then when they got to look out, a lot of people are just froze. So those are many different areas where you could get stuck, and you could feel like tied up inside the situation, not finding a way out, right? So, as I said before, my intention here is we're going to talk about my favorite way to help you, to support you, that work for me, that work for so many of my clients, to help you to move closer to resolving those situations, right? And like anything in life, of course, you get a want to change, right? One thing is feel stuck. Another thing is talking about feeling stuck and complaining about the current situation. And the other level is all right, now I can really receive the message. Now I am ready to take the steps to shift the situation. And like anything that you wanted to do in life, anything that you wanted to bring in life, you gotta be in the place of wanting to change the situation. And that's where the rite of passage came in so beautifully. The rite of passage, it's not a session that I do for you. I create a pathway that you get to have your own tools. You get to go through the experience and, have your own connection to your higher self, your divinity. And then, let me close this because it's getting hot. And then be able to call in what you wanted to experience instead of the current situation that may be making you feel like there is no way out, right? So the first step is identifying and releasing any old agreements that may be keeping you stuck. Now, what are agreements and why this step is so important? And that is where the Akashic records, the Akashic clearings, and being able to have this space to look back and to realize that what got you here, based on your memories, your experiences, and the agreements that you made with yourself or others, are in a position that, the situation invites you to change these agreements. So what exactly is those agreements? As we go through life, we are constantly having different experiences, which become very soon our Akashic memories. And based on these life experiences that we have, which now it's your memories, we can often create what I call agreements, right? And many times those agreements are conscious, but frequently they're not, they're unconscious. And these unconscious agreements can dictate our beliefs and especially our actions as we go through life. That is, these agreements can form these energetic, what I call energetic knots that keep you stuck in conflict situations, and it becomes like the perpetuating experience where you're in a place where you're not comfortable to what's happening, but it feels like there is no way out. It feels like you can't get yourself out of the situation. So, for example, let's say your parents had money problems when you were growing up, right? They had money problems. They might be so consumed with whatever problems, money problems, whatever that is, that they didn't give you the time and the attention that you need. So at that moment, with that understanding of a little 3-year-old or 4-year-old, you made an unconscious agreement that no one cares about what you have to say, right? And this becomes your truth. I was just talking to someone this morning, actually, and this person had, this person said, I'm so clumsy, right? And when this person actually looked at it, she wasn't clumsy, but people told her she was, right? And the moment that someone tells you something about your about an attitude of yours which is not you, you choose to make that your identity. And that is the reason that we have so many of us get in the problem that we are today, right? So later in life, you struggle to ask for what you want. And because of this, you're always settle for less than what you desire. And you keep yourself stuck in this perpetuating cycle. Most importantly, these agreements could ruin your life even without your knowledge. And the first step is acknowledging and releasing these agreements. When you do that, you untie the energetic knots and you burst open to the right opportunities, the synchronicity, and for creating space for the solution and for new opportunities. So these will also help like reprogram your subconscious mind to attract the experiences and the resources that you need to resolve the conflicts and achieve your goals. And so it's a process to deconstruct, be present, deconstruct, clear the pathway, and then set your, recreate what you wanted to experience instead, and receive the vibration and the energetic frequency and the energetic support to do so, right? So I will talk about what I wanted to do now is we're going to talk about what exactly, for those of you that wanted to actually take further, join the rite of passage that is starting this Saturday, because I wanted to talk about it like the different angles. And once I share with your permission about the rite of passage, we're going to come back to that, and we're going to explore here on this live what are the first steps that you can do today. And some of these steps are actually what is going to be some of the practices that are going to be available for you on the day one, which is this Saturday. This coming up Saturday is when we start this rite of passage. So first of all, who is this rite of passage for, right? Is for someone that it feels like they are in a situation that just won't resolve. And we all have been there, right? It's those life conflicts that can seem to go on forever. And they can make you feel like you are like literally tied in knots. That's why the name of this rite of passage is, untying knots, untie the knots. And it many times that those are the focus that I have for you. And of course, everything that you're going to learn, you're going to be able to apply for different areas in your life, right? But there is a lot of situations that can bring those stuck feelings. Here are a few. Maybe it's a business or a personal disagreement that won't resolve, right? When there is some sort of, and what I find interesting is that You may think you resolved something, and then later on, like a few months after, you find yourself in the same situation. Those are the first signs that you're stuck in that cycle, right? So I see that a lot for my clients when a person can't, there is always something connected to their value, or there's something connected to abandonment. And the interesting thing, you feel abandonment as a child, and you will, if you don't resolve this, if you don't untie those abandonment knots from the past, what you're going to do, you're going to mirror that into your relationships, mirror that into your business, into everything. Because think your motivator to do something and to get a determined result come from this place of not have received the support that you needed at a young age. So maybe sometimes is financial, maybe it's legal, maybe it's business conflict that keeps going on. Maybe it's a big life move. Like, oh boy, we went through a huge life move, me and my family, like moving countries and then going to a, staying on the place of limbo that I stayed for a while with, had lawyers involved and all that stuff. That sometimes it's, in a way, you can say it's beyond your control, yet the attitudes that you take and how you read the situation for yourself can change everything. And for example, let's say you're buying or selling a house. If you're holding the energy of have to be this one, and and this is what happens is you lose the space for miracles, for life to readjust itself, right? So there is always a different approach that, oh my gosh, the dog is like up in the in the rocks. That's the coolest thing. We have this huge rock here, and they're both like watching. They're like, what are you doing, mommy? My babies. So all those things kind of can play a role in this, right? Maybe you're simply trying to overcome procrastination, right? And again, that procrastination comes from a place within that wants to be heard, comes from a place within that needs attention. And that's where the whole intention for this live today is talking about, right? Conflict resolution can be challenging, but it's possible. You can let go of the struggle and find peaceful outcomes to the things that make you feel stuck. And really understanding what is that you really, really want. It's so important, because in so many ways, it is all tied up in all this entanglement. And what I'm talking about is you find yourself in this entangled situation, right? And at the same time, you've been bombarded by social media, by, the fake life that a lot of people portray in their social media, and then makes you feel like you're not good enough because you don't have that perfect life that is always like bubbles and flowers, right? So that creates this mass depression where people think they're never going to be good enough to achieve what, the famous TikToker or whatever that is portray as success, portray as abundance, or all of these things. And this is all across the media. When we didn't have the media, there was the magazines, right? This is an energetic manipulation that has been on for a long time, and makes you feel like you needed to achieve something else instead of create the space to be present to what needs to be unfolded from this tied up knot. So the more you go into it, and then the more you think that you need to fulfill some area, you need to achieve a certain thing, and then everything, and what it's very common is like, if I make more, when I make more money, then I'm going to pay attention on this. And then once again, your energy is right here, and you're completely ungrounded in what needs to be done right now. And it's almost like these tied up knots just keep staying down and down and down, and literally pulling you down. So what is really rite of passage? A lot of people say, is that a ritual? No, it's not a ritual. In a way, it's the way that I see is like, I set up the stage, and each one you're going to receive. This one in particular has these specific exercises that you're going to get on Saturday. That is how to go through your memories that kept you stuck and create this breath, this space to go back, unwind these tangled up situations, and then allow yourself to realign your identity with these situations, and then be open to the continuation that's going to come in the next days. So you're going to look inside the rite of passage. You're going to, for this particular one, I wanted to have you to focus in one area. And so you may want to focus in business, you may want to focus in the relationships, the area that is going to most move you forward. And then you're going to have all the replays. It's from the 4 days, you're going to get a 21-day Akashic resonance. You're going to play the Akashic resonance for 21 days. And then after 21 days, you can go back to it and do the other areas, so that you're 100% focused on one area, right? So the whole energy behind this rite of passage that you've been seeing me share every month is a different theme. Is creating closure from one stage of life to enter, right, another area where you open, you make a closure. So many of us never had a closure of your childhood, stage, right? So it's a rite of passage where we create this, almost like a ceremony for you to get the closure to what you need to actually, allow yourself to expand into what you're really here to anchor as your way of being, and the purpose that you're here to do in the world, right? So the rite of passage reminds us of the past blessings, while at the same time encourage us to move forward in faith to the next phase of our lives. So what you find on it, and each one is different. This particular one, on a Saturday, you're going to get these 4 different exercises. You're going to choose one, and they are easy to implement. You're going to receive a live healing that is going to happen on Sunday. And on Monday, you're going to be preparing yourself. You're going to learn how you can create your crystal infusion. That is a particular energetic bath to clear your energy to receive the actually activation of the crystal grid. And when I created this crystal grid, which is going to be on Tuesday, I believe, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Yeah, Tuesday, I will create the crystal grid. And I will infuse the crystal grid with your intentions that you have shared with me in one of the days. And from that place, once the crystal grid is complete, I will record a Akashic download for you, which will download, anchor for you the identity, the way of being that is going to now empower. We're going to, thank the identity that you created up until now. It's like not just one identity. We all create many different identities, many hats, depends on where we are in life and what we do in life. But you're going to bring forth this new identity through this Akashic download. The Akashic download is an energetic session where I connect the Akashic records of your body with the records of your soul, and we download the wisdom that you acquired lifetime through lifetime, particular wisdom that is going to support you in this particular area in your life. And from that, a Akashic resonance is created for the next 21 days, right? So recap, the rite of passage, the description is here if you wanted to join us. It's a 4-day experience plus a 21-day Akashic resonance. And for the Akashic resonance, you just press play every day, and that vibration is going to be holding the energy and allow you to continue integrating all the power and transformation that we created in this 4-day space. Some people are asking, like, do I need to have a lot of time to practice those? No, it's something that you can easily implement in our busy daily lives. Life is changing. The way that we learn is changing. The way that we are experiencing transformation and time is changing. And the rite of passage is designed for how people absorb information today, 2023, right? So each day, as I share, be specific instructions. Day one, you're going to set your intentions and choose one of the 4 practices that are going to be available on day one, which is Saturday, depending on the area of your focus for this rite of passage. Day 2, which is Sunday, we're going to have a live healing session for those of you that are part of it at 9 a.m. Eastern. Let me just confirm. I think that's what it is. Yes, 9 a.m. Eastern, because it's 10 for me. So Sunday is at 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to fix this because mine said was my Brazilian time. On Monday, you're going to be preparing for the rite of passage crystal activation. So there is journaling practices, and that's when you learn how you do your crystal exiliar and the energetic, charge energy clear bath shower that you're going to take. And then on the 4th, on Tuesday, is when we do the activations, the downloads. And this particular one, we have a bonus session for the Lion's Gate. So you're going to receive the bonus session, I believe, on Wednesday, and you get to use it anytime during the Lion's Gate window. You may repeat or not. So this is what is coming up. And now I wanted to actually leave you with, let's see if I can see if there is comments or questions. Which is the weird thing. I still can't figure out how to get comments or questions from this. I think I see a few likes. Okay. No, I don't see any comments. So as always, I will invite you to leave a comment below, and any questions you have, happy to answer. So, yeah, I can't see any comments. That sucks. So untying the knots. So let's go over kind of some of the practice that are going to be available for all areas. If it's relationships, if it's the energy of selling a house. Anytime we find ourselves in resisting, in tangled up situations, clear example of that. You may, let's say, a person that is working for a company and they want a better job, they want to make more money, they want to experience different relationships inside their job, or whatever that is, right? Let's look at that scenario. And a person that may be looking for a new job may feel stuck in a job where it's paying the bills, right? So that's the reason that you stay there, but you hate everybody in the work, you hate what you're doing, you just, it feels like you're just really ready to leave that environment, that situation, but you feel tied up to it, you feel stuck to it, because if you leave, you're not going to be able to pay your bills, for example, right? So this is an example, a scenario that could be happening. Or maybe you are in a situation where you need to sell a house in order to maybe move to a better place, or in order to pay some bills, or whatever reason you need to sell a house, or you just don't want the hassle of, having to pay to keep up the house, right? But then, you find yourself in a moment where maybe the market is not so hot. Maybe there is a relationship. You find yourself stuck in a relationship. You You may not be feeling seen, heard in the relationship, but you may think that if you leave, it would be worse or whatever that is. The first thing to look at in all these scenarios is, have I lived everything that I wanted, my soul called to live in this situation? And this is such a key point, because, and this is like a key point that, the reason that I offer weekly Akashic clearing sessions for my clients in the membership is that anytime we go through, let's call it trauma, abandonment, not feeling seen or heard or whatever that is, we make agreements with ourselves, right? For example, the example that I gave of the child that felt the parents, felt no attention from the parents. So what happened is, let's say, a way to protect herself from the situation, that child created an agreement of, well, if I don't ask anymore to be seen or heard, or if I keep quiet, maybe my parents will start noticing me or whatever, right? So you create an agreement that whenever there is a situation, you don't give yourself permission to express your voice, and then you just keep quiet. But then life, always in its wonderful wisdom, will bring energies in order for you to actually go full circle in that necessity that your soul has to express that you didn't. So it's kind of like, instead, like you shovel the emotions, you shovel the you're not doing the things or having the conversations important because you close yourself off, and then life will keep bringing things that will be coming and hit you on the face. And then what most people do, they keep creating layers and layers and layers and layers on top of that, layers of protection that, yes, they do protect you, yet they keep you stuck. So the hardest thing to do, and is where things start moving, is to actually look at the situation and start to notice what, I'm going to sneeze. Okay, it's gone. It started to know that I'm getting a cold. Oh no, I'm having so much tea this morning. It started to look, what can you find at this moment in that job, in that relationship, in whatever that situation is, to be grateful for. Closure. Day one, in rite of passage, and for the first step here of the what we're talking about in this life, is creating closure. Until you find what is to be appreciative in the job that you have, with, you've been focused on all the things that you don't appreciate, but until you find what is to be appreciative there, the situation is going to continue perpetuating. Right? So creating a closure from the place of what is to be grateful for. Oh, I'm grateful that the job pays my bill. Start there, right? Start there, and then start looking at all the other things and release them, right? So where these people, for example, that trigger me in my work, what is the lesson here? So if I give myself the permission to have responsibility of why I called this job, these people, this situation into my life, and really look at a blessing. What is the gift behind that person? What is the gift behind your parents, your children, and even in the things that they do the most trigger you? What is the gift behind? And in the beginning, that can be the hardest step to take, yet as you go through it, and realize sometimes you go through like, I really don't want to do this. Yet as you go through it, it's starting to become easier. The things that are the hardest for you to do now are the ones that have the biggest opportunity for breakthrough. And it's not fun, yet it is where things start shifting. So many times I had a client that she came for a Akashic session because she was trying to sell a house. And a simple thing, and this is going to be part of the exercise, a simple thing that came through in the session for her is go through the house and thank every single room. Allow, enter in your bedroom and just be there and allow all the memories, good and bad, that you experience there, and express the gratitude for it. You may repeat the Ho'oponopono, you may just, thank that energy, thank the bedroom for holding that energy, and then release that energy. So literally, she did that. We look into, some agreements that she had with her ex that were also the reason that the house wasn't selling. So it opened up. She literally sold the house within a month. And so, am I guarantee you that you do the rite of passage, you're going to sell your house in a month? Of course not, because every person is different. But what is here is an opportunity for you to create, develop strength, to open to closure to the things that have been holding you back, and realign with your intention, detaching from all this like clutter, like energetic manipulation clutter that we see in the world today, because it can get to you if you're not conscious about the information that you allow in your space, if you don't pay attention in the things that need to pay attention. So I'll leave you with this in this live. What is the area that you need? So the same way, so create the space to go through every single room in your house, thank for the experience, surrender that experience, and set, make your wishes that the person that is going to move into that space is going to be happy, is going to fill the house with laughter. The house has its own energy. That is, each house has its own, let's call it a guardian that holds the energy. And when you create peace with the guardian, you open up the frequency of the house, and then it naturally will magnetize the right people to it. In relationships, so we talk about the house, let's talk about relationships. Take a moment. You can run in a fusion. A great way to do this practice is running in a fusion, and then allow the memories that are coming up. When you think about your present situation with someone else that you feel stuck, allow these memories that start coming up. And once again, find what is to be appreciative on it. Surrender, release. Choose to consciously let go of carrying the weight, the emotions, the agreements that you make with yourself based on those memories, right? And then 2 hacks here. The hack number 1 is, before you respond to a situation, especially with someone that triggers you, take a deep breath in and imagine that the person has a higher self on top of the person, right? A higher self is your self with a deeper understanding of where you've been, where you're going. So visualize the person's higher self, and then visualize your higher self. And then ask yourself, how would my higher self answer to this situation? and how would my higher self, as it answers to the situation, is received by the other person's higher self. Because anytime you go into a conversation where that is tension and trigger, right? You immediately, who here have another experience this, before you have a conversation with someone that has a potential to be a pressured relationship or conversation, you immediately go into, I cannot even go there because I know this person is going to answer to this situation with this reaction. So when you clear, a way to clear that out is to visualize first in your head, right? I am going to lift my thoughts to my higher self, and I'm going to allow my higher self to show me, to model for me how it responded to the situation, to the other person's higher self. So you're not, so that way you're no longer triggered by the person's identity reaction to the situation, because you're going higher self to higher self. And you start playing that. And when you do it in here, from that understanding, from that energy, everything shifts. Everything completely shifts. So I will leave you with that. And I wish you a wonderful week. And I'm so excited for those of you that are called to be in the rite of passage. Cannot wait for support you through this journey. One of the other questions that came through is the live session on Sunday. What if you cannot make a live? So I'm making on Sunday. I was going to do it on Monday, but I'm shifting for Sunday, so more of you can show up if you wanted to show up live. However, this work is powerful no matter what. If you come live, if you watch the replay, trust, that you will receive exactly what you need at a time. And so if you cannot make a live on Sunday, the only live portion is going to be on Sunday. So it's designed so it can help you no matter where you are or what time zone you are. So, but there is one live session on Sunday. If you cannot make a replay, it will be available right away afterwards. All right. So any other questions you have, feel free to message me. I will look at all the comments later on today, but I may not be coming back tomorrow. So if you're watching this video, if you have a question for me, feel free to send me a message, patricia@patriciamisakian.com, or you can just go to my website, akashicrecordsinstitute.com, and go to the contact and send me a message. Already such a pleasure to be here with you. And I will be, you know where to find me. Hopefully you have a good one, and I will see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.